Gil Gerard, star of Buck Rogers, passes away at the age of 82. A life of fame, pain, and redemption. The passing of Gil Gerard, the actor who will always be recognized as the captivating face of Buck Rogers in the 25th century, is being mourned throughout the entertainment industry. At the age of 82, Gerard passed away, leaving behind a legacy that went well beyond his notoriety in science fiction. The news feels very personal to fans who grew up watching him soar through space on television screens in the late 1970s and early 1980s. The passing of a hero who represented charm, adventure, and tenacity during a golden age of television. Gil Gerard was not just a legend in science fiction. He was a man whose life reflected the highs and lows of Hollywood itself: quiet perseverance, personal struggles, sudden celebrity, extreme pressure, and reinvention. His path serves as a reminder that every well-known persona is a real person dealing with the same challenges, uncertainties, and aspirations as everyone else. A star born. During a transitional era, Gil Gerard was born in the early 1940s and grew up during a time when television was drastically changing American culture. He was a young man looking for meaning long before he became famous. He was drawn to narrative and performing, but he wasn't sure where his journey would take him. Gerard did not have immediate success in Hollywood, like many actors of his period. Auditions, rejections, and minor roles that hardly covered the bills characterized his early years. Even in those early difficulties, though, there was something distinctive about him: an attention-grabbing presence and a self-assurance that seemed organic rather than forced. Directors of casting spotted it. The producers recalled him. Opportunities started to knock gradually. Getting into Buck Rogers. The casting of Gil Gerard as Buck Rogers altered everything. The public's obsession with space exploration and future narratives at the moment was driving a resurgence of science fiction on television. Buck Rogers in the 25th century was a cultural phenomenon, not just a show. Buck Rogers, played by Gerard, was endearing, funny, and effortlessly cool. He made the character accessible even in an unearthly context by adding humor to the part without diminishing its heroics. Audiences immediately bonded. Youngsters aspired to be him. Adults respected him. Gil Gerard became well-known all at once. He became a celebrity because to the role. At a period when television stardom was both potent and all-consuming, Gerard saw the full impact of popularity through magazine covers, fan conventions, and talk shows. This would have been the pinnacle for many actors. It was just the start of a far more intricate tale for Gerard. The fame-weight pressure came with success. Gerard was held to a very high standard. He was now more than just an actor. He was a symbol of a whole genre. Every performance was examined closely. Every decision was important. Like many fast-rising celebrities, Gerard too struggled to strike a balance between his private life and public acclaim. The expectations of Hollywood started to have an adverse effect behind the scenes. Opportunities came with fame, but so did loneliness. When trends changed and science fiction briefly lost popularity, the industry that praised him might be harsh. Gerard had to deal with a problem that many performers experience but few publicly address as opportunities grew more scarce. What happens when the spotlight fades? Honest battles and personal struggles. Gil Gerard never claimed to lead a flawless life. He talked openly about his hardships in later years, including health problems and personal failures that influenced his viewpoint. Instead of hiding behind nostalgia, he made the decision to be honest, owning up to his faults, accepting his fragility, and urging others to ask for assistance when they needed it. He gained a new type of respect because of his candor. In addition to the hero he portrayed on screen, fans respected the man who bravely overcame his own struggles off-screen. Gerard was approachable in a way that few celebrities are able to do because of his willingness to discuss adversity. Reinvention. Outside of Hollywood, Gerard discovered new methods to engage audiences as the industry changed. He met generations of people who had discovered Buck Rogers long after its initial run, when he made appearances at fan gatherings. Red carpets and accolades were not as important to him as these times. He was more than just an actor to his admirers. He was a part of their early years, their fantasies, and their feeling of wonder. Gerard accepted that role with appreciation and frequently said how moved he was by the love and loyalty he still received decades later. A silent, significant conclusion. Gil Gerard lived a more sedate life in his final years, away from Hollywood's never-ending spotlight. He prioritized reflection, well-being, and preserving deep connections. Those who knew him well describe him as a man who had come to terms with his path. He was appreciative of his life, conscious of his challenges, and proud of his accomplishments. Tributes from fans, fellow performers, and industry veterans flooded in when word of his passing spread. Along with his skill, he was praised by many for his generosity, modesty, and readiness to tell his experience openly. Honoring the man who started the legend ratings and reruns are not the only ways to gauge Gil Gerard's legacy. Because of him, it continues to exist in the minds of those who have faith in heroes. It resides in the bravery with which he spoke candidly about hardship. It also serves as a reminder that genuineness defines a life, not celebrity. For those who actually followed his path, he was much more than just Buck Rogers, a survivor, a storyteller, and a man who learned to rise again even when gravity tugged hard. And a goodbye that resonates through time. Gil Gerard, who is 82, leaving behind a legacy that goes beyond science fiction. His life was a tale of aspiration, achievement, adversity, and at the end, acceptance. He demonstrated to us that heroes are human and not perfect. One thing becomes evident as viewers travel back to previous episodes, relive well-known moments, and exchange experiences across generations. Gil Gerard's light hasn't gone out. It has merely moved forward, into the world he had previously envisioned on television. And Buck Rogers continues to soar there, someplace beyond the stars. One fact looms silently above the din of headlines and breaking news as the news of Gil Gerard's passing continues to sink into the hearts of admirers everywhere. A light has gone out, but its radiance endures. Gil Gerard's odyssey came to an end at the age of 82, yet his legacy feels far from complete. Long after everyone has moved on to the next big story, his contributions, his presence, and the memories associated with him will endure. Gil Gerard was more than just a television personality to many. He represented creativity, exploration, and escape. He became a well-known figure that audiences trusted to transport them beyond the mundane, during a period when science fiction gave wonder and promise. Families gathered around their televisions every week, not only to watch a show, but also to feel something. Curiosity, excitement, and the conviction that humor and bravery could coexist. Beneath the memorable performances and famous parts, however, was a man who led a complex and rich life. Gil, like many artists, went through both the pinnacles of achievement and the quiet challenges that follow when the limelight fades. Although fame is frequently perceived as glamorous, it has a lot of weight. Gil persevered in carrying that burden. He remained appreciative of the supporters who never forgot him and proud of the job he had done even after opportunities changed and the industry advanced without him at its core. His demise serves as a reminder that everyone is affected by time, regardless of how big they previously appeared to be. Even if his death at age 82 was not a sudden loss of youth, it nevertheless felt very personal. Because the absence of someone who has been a part of our lives for decades, even via a screen, feels genuine. Losing a familiar voice, a shared experience, or a piece of the past that influenced who we were at various points in our lives is what it feels like. Gil Gerard's passing is particularly poignant, not only because he is no longer with us, but also because he symbolizes a time period that is gradually vanishing. A time when heroes on television were approachable, when characters may simultaneously be endearing, imperfect, humorous, and human. Gil was part of a generation of artists who depended on presence rather than just spectacle. On time, at heart, his expertise, wit, and ability to put others at ease were frequently praised by those who worked with him. He was making connections with viewers he might never meet, staff people, and other performers in addition to performing for the camera. His loss feels so terrible now because of that relationship, since it was more than just a job that ended. It was a relationship that ended peacefully with the audience. Many admirers will revisit past episodes, well-known scenes, and cherished moments as they consider his life. Lines they are familiar with will make them smile. When they first saw him on screen, they will recall their location. In this sense, Gil Gerard lives on in recollection rather than in the news. Additionally, memory is a potent kind of immortality when it is shared by millions. Death frequently compels us to stop and think about time itself as well as the deceased. Gil Gerard lived long enough to witness the transformation of the world, the growth of generations, and the significance of his work. It's important. That gift is not given to all. His legacy is determined by the subtle influence he had on people's lives, rather than just by accolades and notoriety. Ultimately, Gil Gerard leaves behind an uncommon quality: thankfulness. Fans who were motivated expressed gratitude. From spectators who were at ease. From a world that briefly fled into the worlds he assisted in creating. His narrative serves as a reminder that although life ends, meaning endures. Gil Gerard, go to sleep. The echoes of your voice, your work, and your soul will continue to travel far beyond the stars you once assisted us in imagining. Even though your trip may have come to an end,